Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year and welcome back to the Equinox. I'm Matt Siriani, joined alongside by Carl Maglowski remotely. I'm in studio in Red Bank. Carl is a little bit under the weather, but he's fighting through it like a warrior. How you doing, Carl?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing A-OK. Also, we got Ming Chen pushing the buttons in the studio. How you doing, Ming?
Welcome back, gentlemen. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy
same to you.
Happy holidays, everybody. Hope you got what you guys wanted.
We got what we wanted. Well, I can tell you this, to start off the new year, we got a really good football game on New Year's Day to start the second round of the playoff. I'm talking Arizona State versus Texas. We'll get into that in a second, but we are following live the Notre Dame-Georgia game, which was postponed to today because of a terrorist attack that happened in New Orleans. Carl, can you give us an update, please?
So it's a little more than 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We got Notre Dame 23, Georgia 10.
And who has the ball right now?
Notre Dame does.
Okay. So Notre Dame is several minutes away from pulling off the upset. Well, it really shouldn't be considered an upset because Georgia was going into that game without their star quarterback, Carson Beck. Gunnar Stockton's been taking the snaps today, and he hasn't been too good. But before we actually get into more about the Georgia-Notre Dame part of it, let's get into the other games. Obviously, we had the round one of the college football playoff. Actually, the last time we did the show on December 19th, it was right before the college football playoff even started.
Correct.
So, to recap what happened in rounds one and round two, round one was basically a series of blowouts. Notre Dame won easily against Indiana. The score didn't indicate it, but that was it wasn't even close, really, for the most part.
Yes.
Penn State blew out SMU as expected.
Yes.
Then we had Texas beat Clemson pretty convincingly.
Yes.
And then we also had Ohio State demolish Tennessee.
Yeah, I was wrong with Tennessee beating Ohio State. After yesterday, Ohio State is a good I won't be shocked if they do it again on Texas and next week, how Ohio State's playing right now.
You know, it's funny, like the first round of games made people question, hey, is this expansion of the playoff actually worth it? Because, like I said, SMU stood no chance. Tennessee got ran out of the shoe. Then you also had Clemson. I mean, they didn't play like they were ACC champions. The ACC looked horrible in the first round of the college football playoff. And then, like I said, they also had Indiana, who was like a Cinderella the entire season. They looked like crap for the most part.
Right.
But then we had round two, and then round two started off with a stinker. Boise State looked like they were playing like children against Penn State. And then, like I mentioned before we came on the air, Texas, Arizona State, hands down the game of the playoffs so far.
It was.
Hands down.
Yes.
And I wanted to see Arizona State pull it off, but unfortunately it just wasn't meant to be.
No.
That young man, Cam Scatterbo, is something else.
Yeah, he's going to be good back in next level. I don't know if he's going to be every down back, but he'll be, with what he did yesterday, he's probably going to be a second-round pick.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that kid, and you got to remember, if you listen to the broadcast team with Joe Tessitore, Cam Scatterbo was nauseous the entire game. He was carrying like a stomach bug, which has been going around crazy ever since the new year began. So Cam Scatterbo looked awesome. Sam Levitt, I guess he's okay. I know I was in a Discord with a couple friends of mine, and they said Sam Levitt has potential to be good. I'm not really feeling Sam Levitt. There's something about him that just doesn't really intrigue me. Maybe it's his arm.
Now, what is he, a junior?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's got one more year under his belt, and then he's eligible for the pros. Oregon versus Ohio State.
I was wrong.
Bowl, 111th year of the
I was wrong.
Horrible. We were both wrong. We
ate crow. We looked foolish.
We looked really, really dumb. If you recapped our show, for those who watched it like before the holidays, you would know that Carl and I were pretty wrong on a lot of our picks.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if Ohio State wins the whole thing. I won't be shocked.
Just imagine what a story that would be. People were ripping on Ryan Day, saying that man should be fired for losing to Michigan the way that he did, and then all of a sudden he comes back and wins the national title, which Ohio State's been dying for a national title since the first year of the CFP.
Right. If Notre Dame holds on, and if they do, I'm not saying it's in the bag yet, but if they hold on, with them being what they did today, with actually a home game for Georgia in the Superdome,
Right.
I think they could actually beat Penn State next week. Because all you got to do, because Georgia likes to run a ball, and so far Notre Dame has stopped the run.
Yeah.
You just can't let Kyle Warren beat you, and the two backs from Penn State, Singleton and Richardson, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So Notre Dame and Penn State are two equal. Notre Dame likes to do the same thing that Penn State likes to do.
Yeah.
So
Very similar styles.
I won't be shocked if Notre Dame actually beats Penn State next week. It's going to be a real good game in the Orange Bowl.
That's actually a hot take right there. I didn't have Penn State in the cards to make it to the semis, but then again, this is why a group of 5 teams don't get too often of a shot at a natty.
Yeah.
Penn State looked really good though. I'm not discrediting them for beating Boise State the way they did. They did what they had to do. And Notre Dame, I mean, I had a feeling this would happen. As soon as Carson Beck was announced that he was not going to play, I was like, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then on top of that, I also got to mention that like Ohio State, I think, has been like the best team so far this playoff. Like if they beat Ohio State, Texas should be fun. It should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I will say Texas got away with murder because for those who watched the Texas-Arizona State game, this is what I'm livid about right now. Arizona State's driving, tied at 24 in the fourth quarter.
The hit to the head.
One of the receivers, I think it was their leading receiver, took a shot to the head, which should have been called targeting, and then they waved it off.
Now, what makes no sense is, they didn't throw the flag because they didn't throw the flag.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you review it and you see that the crown of the helmet hit the Arizona State receiver in the head, helmet, that's targeting.
Yeah, it was clearly targeting.
Since they didn't throw the flag, why would you replay it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. It makes no sense. And Arizona State, like, I know people are going to say, well, Arizona State lost because the referee screwed them on that. Well, to counter that, on 4th and 13 from the 28-yard line.
Yeah, they went all out blitz. They should just did prevent and have 7 guys, and basically they just do it. If they didn't blitz, if they just play zone, they don't get that touchdown pass in the end zone. Yeah,
that receiver from Texas popped butt naked open for a touchdown in the first overtime, and that's what cost him.
Yeah.
And like I said before, you weren't going to get that production from Cam Scatterbo in a second overtime.
No.
Because he was exhausted. His own offensive lineman had to suplex him into the end zone.
Right.
Yeah, but listen, Arizona State, for a team that was picked to finish last in the Big 12, they gave it their all. They fell short. They did what they put up. They did all that they could. But it just wasn't like it just didn't go their way. But they got through with that call with no targeting.
Right. Okay, Matt. So there's 3:25 left in the fourth quarter. Georgia's down to 1 timeout. It's second down. Notre Dame gets 1 more first down. The game's over. And
so it's 3:25 left. Is the score still the same, 23-10?
Yep, 23-10.
Okay, Notre Dame's just got to put the finishing touches here.
Basically, if they get because if say it's third down, whatever.
Yeah.
If they stop on third down, they're going to lose the last timeout. Regardless, they're going to waste another minute or so. But just basically just get the first down on this clinch it right here.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. And who?
And then, after this game, they just showed a highlight on ESPN that Jackson Dart is going to be playing for Ole Miss in the Gator Bowl against who are they playing? It's Ole Miss and not Gator.
I believe it's Duke. I believe.
No, sorry, it's Duke. It's Duke and it's Duke and Ole Miss and Duke Mayo's Duke Mayo Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's Ole Miss and Duke. So Jackson Dart's actually playing for Ole Miss in this game.
Hey, listen, you know what? I applaud that because one of the things that I don't like about this 2025 quarterback class coming into the NFL is the fact that they basically played like crap in their bowl game.
Right.
Or in Cam Ward's case, he played a half and then basically just said, I'm out.
Right.
So that's the one thing. But it's good to see Jackson Dart showcase because he's going to be a quarterback that's going to be highly touted coming into the draft. Also, Jalen Milroe has declared for the NFL draft as well after looking like crap at the bowl game against Michigan. They must have been surprisingly happy about that.
I think that's a bad move. How he looked in the bowl game, he should have stayed at least 1 more year. I think that with how he played on Tuesday, he's going to drop his stock. I think he should have came back one more year and to be a more efficient passer. But we'll see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that. Ming, I don't know if you watched the bowl game that Alabama and Michigan played in. Jalen Milroe did not look good. I mean, are you shocked that after 2 years at Bama, he's like deciding, hey, let's try this out?
I mean, not super shocked, but what a great victory! What a great victory is that?
Thanks, Happy.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot to celebrate this season, but
Yeah.
we did have two big things, and that was the second. So
That was the second. Well, obviously, Ohio State beating Michigan was, or Michigan beat Ohio State was.
Yeah, and now everyone's wondering how they pulled that off. Pure grit, man, pure determination.
Hey, listen. Michigan did had a hell of an effort. They looked really good.
They look great.
Where was that earlier in the season?
Listen. Well, they lost a lot of people to the NFL. Come on,
that's true. I'll give them a pass
coach,
there.
Yeah, including their head coach.
I'll give him a pass there. Hey, listen, Sharon Moore, if he could keep up this kind of momentum going into next year, I think Michigan can get back into playoff contention.
We'll see. And as I say every year, I don't care about any of the other games. I don't care about the bowl game as long as it's the Ohio State. That is the bowl game. That's all that matters.
As far as
you still want to be in a playoff, though.
Sure.
Were you popping champagne last year after Michigan won the Natty?
I popped more than champagne. Yeah, that was awesome. And
all right, my question is for you, man. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Were you disgusted how Rutgers collapsed in bowl? Great. What was it?
Kansas State.
Yeah, no. What was it? The Rate Bowl.
It was the Rate Bowl in Arizona, one of the worst bowls that you could have gotten into.
They were up by what? 17 points.
Yep. Oh my God. This is first off, Kyle Monangai sat out this game for God knows what reason, probably to just save himself for the NFL draft.
Probably.
I don't understand because Kansas State stinks. They were not good. Actually, Rutgers was an underdog going in because Kyle Monangai wasn't playing. That was the main reason why they were underdog. But how the hell do you even let that happen? Like Michigan, Rutgers just allowed too many big plays on defense, and that's Greg Schiano's specialty. He's a defensive mastermind. So the fact that the big plays in the fourth quarter, they couldn't stop a nosebleed in the fourth quarter, it was just terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And the worst part was our quarterback was going crazy in the first three quarters. And then all of a sudden, things just switched off in the fourth.
Now, my thing is, okay, so Kyle Monangai didn't want to play in the game. Okay.
Yeah.
Then why was he allowed to travel with them then?
That makes no sense. Because
that's the thing.
That's the thing. There were athletes, even in the Pinstripe Bowl last year, Rutgers had some players that sat out because they wanted to participate in the NFL Combine.
Right.
I don't understand why you would want to travel with the team if you're not going to play.
The school shouldn't allow them. Okay, you decided, you don't want to be with them in the bowl game because you want to, you don't get hurt for your NFL draft. That's fine. Then you had a great career. You're not allowed to go.
I understand, for moral support, you want to do this, but come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. Especially if you're perfectly healthy. Carson Beck was on the Georgia sideline.
Yeah, he is,
But, he physically couldn't play. That's a different story. He physically couldn't play. He wanted to be there for moral support. Kyle Monangai sitting on the sideline fully healthy, looked like he could go, looked like he could trip over a couple people. That's unnecessary. That's why I don't think.
Now, Matt, did you hear any more about the Leonard Hamilton story at Florida State with the players suing him?
I did not hear about this storyline. Please enlighten me.
Yeah, so a couple days ago, 6 players last year on Leonard Hamilton's Florida State basketball team were promised NIL money.
Oh, my God.
I guess it was handshake, whatever, behind the locker room, closed doors, whatever. They never got what they were promised.
Oh, my God.
Now those 6 players are suing Leonard Hamilton for back pay. So that's what you're going to have now with NIL. So this is going to happen. So I don't know what they're going to have to do, but they're going to have maybe a higher commissioner or where none of this happens. Instead of shaking hands, they may have to sign contracts because why are you going to sue your basketball coach? This is college athletics is basically it's going to be like how the pros are now.
It's basically going to be like a minor league for the pros. That's pretty much what college football and even basketball is going to be. It's kind of amazing because like NIL was supposed to be this like amazing thing, but now you see what happened at UNLV with the quarterback for UNLV. He was promised NIL money earlier in the year and he didn't get it, so that's why he entered the transfer portal and now he's not playing football at all. So there's a little bit of a gray area with the NIL, and I understand where you're coming from with this. I know that these athletes want to get paid. They want these endorsement deals. They want to brand themselves. I get it. But now you're like, if you're promising money that you don't have or aren't going to pay, that's a problem. And that makes you look bad as a university.
Right. And now, after 1 year, if you're not getting playing time, you can just go, all right, I'm going to transfer to another school and get more money.
That's actually.
And here's the thing is, some of the players are getting paid equally. So if you're the best player, you can get $3 million, and say me and you, or say we're average, we only get maybe $50,000.
Right.
So it's not going to be balanced, and if they're not, that's why it's going to be bad. I'm telling you, it's going to. I liked how college football was in college basketball, but that's why there's more comparity and people getting beat. But I have a feeling that we're going to be in a bad situation with this.
I can only imagine what North Carolina University is going to be like now that Bill Belichick is there. There's probably like a bunch of endorsement deals.
Yep.
And I don't know if Belichick's got as much money he wants. He's a 6-time Super Bowl champion. He's like easily going to afford that money. Yeah. But as far as the University of North Carolina goes, that's going to be a different topic of discussion.
No, and then they confirmed that Steve Belichick, his last game was Tuesday for the Washington Huskies defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
She's joining his dad in Chapel Hill.
Rightfully so. So. All right. So while we're talking about college football and the juiciness, and when Georgia Notre Dame goes final, Carl will probably give us the update when. But I do want to pivot a little bit over to the NBA now because the NBA has gotten a little bit wacky. The New York Knickerbockers are on a 9-game win streak. They look really good. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns are like the dynamic duo of New York City. And they look really good. The Sixers are bouncing back, although Joel Embiid is like a big old thing of glass and his attitude is less than desirable. But they did pull off the win on Christmas Day against Boston Celtics. Carl, are you at all buying the fact that the Sixers are now all of a sudden turning it around all of a sudden?
They're turning around. They are going to be, when the playoffs start, they'll probably be not in the play-in. If they lost last night to the Kings, but they beat the Celtics, then they beat the Jazz, then they beat the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Tonight they have the Warriors. So if they win tonight, they'll be 4-1 on the road trip, and then they're actually not coming home. They're going to probably go right to Brooklyn,
right,
and play the Nets. So that's not a bad trip from where they were. They started 3-14.
Yeah.
Now they're 13-17. So they're 10-3 in their last 13 games.
Correct.
That's not bad. You know what I'm saying? So when they all play together, they're good. So at some point they're going to be away from the play-in. They'll probably be maybe a 4 or 5, maybe a 5 or 6 seed. Who wants to play them when they're all healthy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. And I mentioned the Knicks for a second. Like, listen, it's good to see the Sixers are turning around, but the New York Knicks are actually a really good story. Remember, this is a team that lost in the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs to a young Pacers team that looked like they had a lot going for them in the future. The Pacers, I think, are in the play-in tournament right now if the season were to end today, but those are the keywords, if it ended today. But the Knicks look really good. Jalen Brunson should be in the MVP conversation. That young man has been electric, to say the least. And I think he was like the first Knick to put up back-to-back 50-point games, which is like absolutely unbelievable. Ming's coughing right now. That's how unbelievable this is.
All right, man. It's final. It's over.
It's final 23-10?
23-10, yep.
Okay.
Penn State next Thursday night, 7:30 at the Orange Bowl.
Unbelievable. So, I'm not a cheerleader, but if you know the seating arrangements, 5, 6, 7, 8, who do we appreciate? The committee. Because 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds all lost in the quarterfinals. All lost. Unreal. And you know what? Good for college football. You know why? Because We need stuff like this. If it was like the same top 4 teams in the CFP every single year, it wouldn't be fun.
Right. Basically, it's like how it is when they used to have the buys for number 1 and 2 seed in the AFC and NFC used to have the bye, and then all the wild card teams would 3 through 6 would play. They would get hot, win the first game, and then they will win the divisional round because the teams had the bye. They were rusty.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? You mentioned the bye. The bye teams that were on the bye heading into the quarterfinals went 0-4.
Yep.
They all lost. Georgia gone. Notre Dame gone. Or Georgia gone. Oregon gone. Boise State gone. Arizona State gone.
Yep.
Unbelievable. But if I like between Texas and Texas, Ohio State should be fun. Penn State, Notre Dame should be interesting. If you had to give your early prediction for those two matchups, what do you think your natty is going to be?
Ohio State. I already saw Ohio State, Penn State, so I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Ohio State, Notre Dame.
That would be interesting. Ming, I know like Michigan's not in the running for a national title, but if you had to pick like your national title game out of the 4 teams left, who would you take?
It pains me to say it's looking good for Ohio State right now.
Yeah,
it's looking very good. I don't want to pick them though, so I don't know who else to pick though.
You could pick Texas. They're playing Ohio State.
I'll pick Texas, but it's probably not going to happen.
And as far as Penn State, Notre Dame is concerned, who are you taking?
Oh, I want to go Notre Dame as a former South Bend resident.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that one's it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it should be a good game. Hey, listen, you know what? I got to give a shout out to my Uncle James because he's a Notre Dame alum. He actually dormed with Jerome Bettis.
The bus?
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Like when he was in college, Jerome Bettis was his roommate.
I'm sure he's got stories.
I'm pretty sure he does. Oh my God. But Notre Dame's got a big community in the Garden State. A lot of people in New Jersey love the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
I think everyone loves the Fighting Irish. Gold helmets, the Rudy, touchdown Jesus.
Of course. Yeah. But you want to know what it is with Notre Dame? And I've said this time and time again. We should have like an argument on this, even if they win the Natty. What are you doing being an independent in football? What are you doing? Because you could you didn't have to, get a bye. You could have gotten a bye if you stayed in the ACC. I know they were in the ACC for 1 year because of the COVID and other independents and Ivy League schools didn't want to play. But at the same time, like if you were in the ACC and you won the ACC championship, you could have been in a top 4 seed. You could have gotten a bye in this circumstance. But now they're proving people wrong.
I like the independency. I like it. I love it. It makes Notre Dame. For football, it works. And everything else during the conference, but in football, they've always been independent, and they should be that way. They always have best matchups every year. They play all the tough teams. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the thing with Notre Dame is that their schedule is scattered. Like they'll play a Big Ten team here, they'll play an ACC team here, they'll play an SEC team here. Oh, we'll throw in a school from the Western Conference just to mix it up.
Yeah, so next year they're playing 5 ACC teams. The first game next year is Miami.
Okay.
Then they have USC again.
Okay.
So they're going to have Stanford.
Yeah.
So who knows? They might be playing Clemson again next year. But I know they're playing 5 ACC teams next year. I don't have the schedule in front of me. If anyone wants to look it up for 2026, sorry, 2025.
Yeah.
But they're playing 5 ACC teams. I know Miami's one of them. I don't know who the other 4 are.
Well, we got our fact checker Ming Chen at it right now. So let's take a look. The schedule's not set in. Actually, no. Here we go. We got Miami, which on opening day, which you mentioned. They got to play Texas A&M again.
In South Bend.
They got Purdue at home.
Okay.
They got to travel to Arkansas.
Okay, that's a good SEC. That's a good game.
They got the Boise State Broncos.
Where?
In South Bend, yeah.
Okay, that's a good game.
They got USC. They always play USC, so that shouldn't be really a surprise.
That's South Bend.
They got Navy again. They always play Navy.
Right.
They got Boston College. That should be an easy one. NC State Wolfpack.
That's gonna be tough.
Syracuse.
Syracuse was good this year.
Yeah, and then they got Pitt.
Wait.
Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or am I counting that wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It should be Stanford. Stanford should be the last one, right?
Stanford's not shown on here unless they just cut it out. Yeah, it's cut out for some reason. But yeah, listen, I gotta talk to Ming about this question. I asked you this question about Notre Dame's independency. Ming, are you fine with Notre Dame not being in a conference for football?
I mean, I guess just following tradition, right? So I've always seen them as kind of like outsiders, right?
Yeah,
Kind of jump in and spoil things here and there, maybe. And but yeah, some would say they're in a division of their own, even.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, there are only 3 independents in college football. It's Notre Dame, UConn, and I think it's one other Jersey school. I think it's
UMass.
UMass. Excuse me. Yeah, just those 3 schools are independents.
Yeah,
Everyone else is in a conference.
I kind of like it.
I mean, listen, I'm fine with Notre Dame. Like, Notre Dame's a big time school. Like, they haven't been in a conference ever, which I understand. But like, just imagine like you're 13-0 in the regular season, and you can't get a bye in the college football playoff because you're not in a conference.
Yeah.
No, but they choose that. They don't care because they're always on TV every week, either on NBC on home games or they're on ESPN or ABC on the road games. So they're on basic cable every week.
Pretty much. If you have basic cable, you're guaranteed to watch Notre Dame, which is kind of nice. But back to basketball for a second. I'm glad that Carl gave me the update for the final. As far as the NBA is concerned, I looked at the top 5 MVP candidates. It's mostly the same people from last year. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Thunder's in there. Giannis is on there after a horrible start. Victor Wembanyama, who's picked it up massively this year, he's on there. I think
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell is surprisingly not in the category.
He's not? Wow.
He's not, and I'm shocked because the Cavaliers are on fire. They're 29-4. They look incredible.
If they're the top seed in the East, how's he not the MVP of the league?
Because the committee wants their major stars to be front and center.
Isn't Donovan Mitchell a star?
He's not as big of a star as he should be. Like if he went to the Knicks, he would have gotten a lot more recognition if he was a Knick.
I don't think he will. I don't think if after his extension's up in Cleveland, I don't think he's going to go to the Knicks because I think the Knicks are tapped out with what they did with Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
So if he don't be signed with Cleveland, I won't be shocked if he goes. Who knows? To the Lakers or you know what I'm saying? Who knows?
You want to know what the thing is, though? Like, New York is such a big market. Cleveland, Ohio, I was told there's absolutely nothing in Cleveland, Ohio. I could be absolutely wrong. Like, that's probably why people make fun of Ohio to begin with. But the thing with the Cavaliers, they're well-rounded. It's not just Donovan Mitchell. Evan Mobley's playing really well. So, the Cavs, I think, for a team that's a 1 seed, they're not getting treated like it. They're getting treated like, okay, they're good, but they'll get bounced out by, like, the 8 seed or whatever. But they're not going to get bounced out.
I'm not what. Yeah, the Celtics are good, but the Celtics are. I know they're going through the growing pains, but I should be shocked during the playoffs. The Celtics are well-oiled machine, but I'm not into the Celtics right now.
Can you?
They're hurt.
And actually, the Celtics are only a half game up on the Knicks for the 2 seed right now in the East, which I think is actually incredible. But again, the Knicks were the 2 seed last year, and look how that turned out.
Yeah, I think what the Celtics are doing is they're waiting for the playoffs because they're trying to repeat. It doesn't matter if they get home court advantage through the playoffs. They're just ready to repeat. So they're trying to basically get everyone healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the Brooklyn Nets were off to a hot medium of the season earlier, and now they've kind of crashed back down to reality. The Sixers, like I said, are doing good. The Detroit Pistons are in playing position, which is unbelievable because that team won I think 13, 14 games last year. Now they're in playing position, which is kind of incredible. And then we also got in the Western Conference, I want to get into this. The Thunder are number 1. That's not really much of a surprise. The Lakers are just up and down. You don't know what to expect from them. I will say, though, for those who watched Golden State versus the Lakers on Christmas Day, LeBron and Steph are picking up classics like there's no tomorrow. Those two are just made to play against each other. And then the Grizzlies are back on track after not having Ja Morant for a good portion of the year. The Nuggets are starting to are starting to find their groove again. I think they're like in the top 6 right now in the West, which is nice. The Blazers are the Blazers. The Jazz are the Jazz. They stink. Take the A and replace it with an I, and that's what you get with the Jazz.
Yeah, they're no good.
Yeah, no good. Now we're going to get into some Major League Baseball. We have a couple of signings.
There we go.
We're still waiting on a couple people, but I do want to confirm that Alex Bregman is not officially a Boston Red Sox. I know that there have been reports about him signing with Boston and that the Red Sox are like all in to try and get him. I don't know if that's happening. We're still waiting on Nolan Arenado. Corbin Burns is a Diamondback.
How many years?
It was like, I think 5 years, 210. He got $210 million. It's like a 5-year contract.
5 or 7.
5 or 7 years.
Okay.
So
And an opt-out.
and an opt-out. But you want to know something? I would want to opt out of Arizona. Arizona's got a really nasty rotation.
Yeah, they're going to be good.
They're going to be really good. Like, they're going to be a wild card team this year. Like, that's my early prediction for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Because you got Montgomery. You got Zach Gallen. You got Kelly. You have Montgomery. And you got Corbin Burns. 5. And you got Rodriguez as well. So it's like, that's like a really nasty rotation right there. I would not want to face the Diamondbacks pitching. Maybe the Dodgers would. But even then, like, this is the team. The Dodgers lost to the Diamondbacks a couple of years ago.
They did.
And plus, you got like the fastest player on the planet. So, to me, I think the Diamondbacks are definitely a playoff team in the National League. You can take it to the bank. I mean it. Anyone who's watching this and saying, "Oh, Matt's crazy for thinking the Diamondbacks are a playoff team," they're going to be a playoff team. Take it to the bank, especially because they got robbed out of the playoffs last year. Last year they got robbed because the Mets.
The thing is anybody still going to beat the Dodgers? They're loaded.
They're loaded, and they got so many deferred payments. I should have just deferred my college tuition. I really should.
They re-signed Teoscar. So
yeah, 3 years, $66 million.
Yeah, so they're good. Now, any news on the new Japan pitcher?
Roki Sasaki is still not signed. All indications are it's going to be LA. The Dodgers are going to probably take him.
Dodgers too with him?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah.
I would love to know how much deferred money is in their account. It must be the guy. It must be Shohei Ohtani's agent that's
I don't know.
in jail.
If that happens, when's enough for them? You know what I'm saying?
No, like, this is my thing.
Cap.
Cap.
Yeah. Need a cap.
You need a cap. Because here's why. You can't have the Dodgers just shoveling money into a safe and basically saying, "Okay, we'll pay you in 10 years. We'll pay you in 15 years. We'll pay you in 2 decades."
Right.
Like, because you know what's going to happen? They're going to be hamstrung financially in the next decade. Like, they could enjoy their World Series rings as much as they want, but if they're going to be financially crippled because of the Ohtani contract, because of the Mookie Betts, because of now Blake Snell, because of Freddie Freeman, good luck.
If they land him, basically, it's gonna be how the Warriors were when they got Kevin Durant. You know they're going to the world. Basically, they were going to the finals. They were winning the West.
Yeah,
if that happens. You know the Dodgers are gonna be. Who wants to see that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. But but like the thing with baseball is like you need to have a balance of money. Like, I wish I deferred my entire college tuition. I wish I deferred every single haircut I had in my entire lifetime. Because that's what the Dodgers are doing. They're basically saying, "Okay, we'll pay for you in like a year, 2 years time." But anyway, I digress. I don't want to rant about this. We do have a couple of free agents that are still out there besides Bregman. We still are waiting on Nolan Arenado. We're still waiting on Pete Alonso, whose market is apparently terrible. We're still waiting on Anthony Santander. We're still waiting on Tanner Stott. We're still waiting on Jack Flaherty, among other people. We're waiting on a bunch of people. What are the Phillies considering on doing? Do they have any moves up their sleeve that they could possibly pull at this point?
Well, they did. I don't know if you know, last weekend they traded for Jesus Luzardo from the Marlins.
Okay, that's not a bad move. They
traded for him. So right now, I was talking to my friend. He thinks the Phillies are going to be third in division.
Yeah.
I think the Phillies will finish second. I think it's still going to be Atlanta. Atlanta's getting all those guys back.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be the Braves, Phillies, and Mets. The Phillies are going to be playing for a wild card because I think the Braves are going to win the division. If they don't get hurt, the Phillies didn't do nothing to improve the team.
Yeah.
The Braves are not doing key moves, but they're getting all those guys back.
Uh-huh.
So you're getting your Acuna back, and you're getting Spencer Strider back.
Mm.
So they waited the playoffs with not those two guys. With them, I think they're going to win the division. I think the Braves may win high 90s, and the Phillies are going to be probably a 4 seed. And
Makes sense.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll make the playoffs, but if you don't do nothing, you're gonna crap out again. They got to hit better when the time comes.
Yeah, I agree. The problem with Philadelphia was when they played the Mets, they literally took them for granted. They took them for granted, and the Mets made them pay. That's exactly what happened. And then the Yankees during the holiday season, we got a 37-year-old first baseman. Paul Goldschmidt signed a 1-year, $12.5 million contract to be the Yankees' new first baseman. Ben Rice is still on the roster. We also traded Jose Trevino away for Alex Jackson and Fernando Cruz, who I think Matt Blake wanted. Matt Blake wanted Fernando Cruz really badly for the bullpen purposes. We also got Cody Bellinger over the holiday season. And I think we're still waiting on a couple things. I know that we're not getting Nolan Arenado. Arenado basically said, I'm not coming to the Yankees. So,
dude, you're gonna win. You're gonna win a division. You're still the top dog to win the pennant. You know what I'm saying? So at least you have a better. I feel more comfortable with the Yankees than I do with the Phillies.
And actually, I mentioned the Diamondbacks for a second. I want to go back to Arizona for a second. They got a really underrated free agent signing that I think is going to shake up the National League. They got Josh Naylor from the Guardians, which I thought was massive. But back to the Yankees, I agree with you in a sense. Like, I think there's no team in the American League that's better than the Yankees right now. And this isn't just me being a biased Yankee fan. This is me saying it's kind of true. Because the Guardians are still a young team and they lost Josh Naylor. So who knows what's going to happen there. The Royals might win the division this year, but I don't think they're going to be like the caliber of the Yankees. The Orioles, if they can't keep Santander, they're not going to be much of a threat. Boston is not going to be much of a threat no matter what they do. Tampa Bay is a disaster. Toronto. The amount of times I've heard over the offseason, the Toronto Blue Jays are interested in Juan Soto. The Toronto Blue Jays are interested in this player. I got to read. I'm in a Discord with a bunch of people that I know from the Colorcast community. I got to tell you the list that I saw of the players that the Blue Jays were interested in but didn't sign. This is insane. So let me just go to this Discord. This is actually kind of insane. So the Blue Jays were interested in the following: Juan Soto, Corbin Burns, Gleyber Torres, who signed with the Tigers,
Correct.
Roki Sasaki, Kike Hernandez, Pete Alonso, Cody Bellinger, Jordan Romano, Anthony Santander, Pivetta, Josh Naylor, Michael Lorenzen, Alex Bregman, Jorge Polanco, Max Fried, Luis Severino.
Oh, we also got Jordan Romano too, Matt, from the
Jordan Romano. Yeah, that was good.
Got him also. What's
So,
he do?
out of all those names I just mentioned, guess how many of those people the Blue Jays got?
None.
0.
Bagel.
And you want to know what's funny? I think Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette are looking at themselves like, what did we just sign ourselves up for at this point? I'm shocked that they're basically not going out to management and saying, hey, we want to get traded. Because the Blue Jays are not going to be good this year. They are not going to be good. If it's just Bichette and Guerrero, the not so baby Blue Jays anymore carrying the team, you're in for a rude awakening. Because the rest of the team sucks.
And the Astros are going to win the West by default.
Yeah, pretty much. No matter how many people the Astros lose, they're going to win the division anyway.
Yeah, because they got Christian Walker, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
Yeah, so they'll win by default because Vegas they're not nothing.
Yeah.
And then Seattle, they collapsed last year.
Yeah.
And then the Rangers, maybe the Rangers could come back. And I wouldn't be, you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if the Rangers give them a run for the money. The Angels, no.
No.
But I think Texas may be better and actually may surprise and actually may win the West.
Now, as far as the Central goes, I mentioned the Central a little bit. I think the Royals are going to win the division. So basically, we mentioned the 3 divisions in the American League side. The National League side of the Central, I actually want to get into because I have an early prediction here. I think the Cincinnati Reds.
You think the Reds?
I think the Reds are going to win that division. I think Milwaukee won the division back-to-back years for the first time in like 40-plus years. I think they're going to take a step back. I think the Pirates are still not where they should be, even though Paul Skeens has proven that he could be amazing. The Cubbies are just eh. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing a team.
You got the
I mentioned the Brew Crew. I mentioned the Cubbies. I mentioned the Cardinals. The
Cardinals. No, Cardinals.
No, nothing's coming out of that team. So I think it's the Reds division to lose. I think the Brewers might come in second and maybe get a wild card, but I'm not really too stoked about anyone else in the Central except for the Reds because I think Terry Francona going there is going to help Ellie De La Cruz out massively.
Well, you heard this from me on January 2nd, 2025. If the Cardinals have a bad season, I think at the end of the year, Ollie Marmol's going to get fired.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, the Cardinals, I think ever since they lost their 3 veterans, I think are just gone. I mean, Wainwright's gone.
Yeah.
Pujols is gone. And then oh god, all 3 guys are gone. So it's like
Yep.
It's a shame because that Cardinal organization was really good for such a long time, and now they've kind of fallen apart at the seams.
Yep.
Also, I do want to acknowledge that over the holidays, we did lose a very, very important piece of baseball history. Ricky Henderson passed away. Baseball's all-time leader in stolen bases and one of the best leadoff hitters in baseball history. This was very rough. My grandpa Tony, who grew up watching Ricky, said that he was the most electrifying baseball player he's ever seen. And that just pretty much wraps up a lot of the names in baseball that we lost. We also lost Willie Mays this year. We lost Ed Kranepool this year. We lost Pete Rose this year.
Yep.
Come on. Like, the hits kept coming in 2024.
Yeah, they were saying that Ricky Henderson had pneumonia.
Oh, my God. 4 days before his birthday, too. He was only 65 years old. He was 66. He was a young man.
Yeah.
Such a shame. It really is such a shame. So those are like an early preview of what our predictions are going to be for the MLB divisions. But now we got to get to the granddaddy of them all when it comes to sports. We got to talk about the NFL. We're going to start off in Philadelphia first because a report has come out. Saquon Barkley is at 2,005 rushing yards on the year through 16 games, but Nick Sirianni has said he will not be going for the record, and they will sit him for Week 18.
Correct. He's out.
Saquon, in an interview, said, you know what, it's not my decision. I would love to go for the record, but whatever Coach Sirianni says is best for me, I will follow. This is going to please Eric Dickerson because Eric Dickerson also was interviewed about, hey, how would you feel if Saquon Barkley broke your record? And Eric Dickerson said, I don't want him breaking my record. Well, Eric, you can relax now. Carl, are you pissed off about this? I know that records breaking, especially like a 40-year-old record, would be kind of nice, but how are you on this?
Well, if they had to, if they were going for the 1 seed and the bye, they would have played them maybe a half.
Yeah.
Against the Giants to see what happens, but it makes sense. This is their bye week because this is they haven't had a bye since week 5.
Yeah.
So they played 10 straight. No, basically
week 5. So
week 5. So that's 4. They're 13-3. So they play 12 more games.
Wow.
Without a bye, and probably not playing Jalen Hurts again on Sunday. They're giving him an extra week to get ready next week for the playoffs. So this is the bye week. With them going now, with only one team gets a bye with expanded playoff with the seventh seed. If this was back to how it was, they would be having a bye next week in the playoffs in the divisional round.
Yeah.
With them adding the extra team in the NFC and AFC,
yeah,
they're playing next weekend in a home game, probably right now against the Packers. So they want to rest all their guys next week for Green Bay, because now, do they want to play for seeding or just rest their guys? Because now the Commanders, who beat Atlanta on Sunday, that was atrocious. Raheem Morris, I don't know how he gets come back next year after that debacle. That's a joke.
That was a debacle of
So do Washington want to go for it? Now Washington holds the tiebreaker over the Packers.
Yes.
Overall win percentage in the conference.
Now,
do they want to go and win? But what if Jaden Daniels gets hurt and he's out in the playoff game next week? Same thing with Jordan Love. So what are you going to do? The Eagles are smart. It is what it is. Either we play the Packers or Commanders, doesn't matter. We're getting all our guys ready for next week. So what are they going to do? You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
You know?
I get it. You mentioned a good thing. So the Commanders are playing the Cowboys in week 18. The Packers are playing the Bears in week 18. The Cowboys might actually want to try to win week 18 because Mike McCarthy wants to keep his job there. It's going to be really close as to whether or not he stays or not, because Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys dropped the ball on themselves, getting blown up by the Eagles the way they did. So I think that's going to hurt McCarthy's decision. But I am going to say this. When we're talking about teams losing, no, I shouldn't say. No, I'm going to say it. The Giants had the number 1 pick in the draft going into week 17. The Colts needed to win against the Giants to keep their playoff hopes alive. And all of a sudden, Drew Lock decides to turn back the clock and play like Joe Montana against the Colts. When they haven't won a home game all season long, you have the number 1 pick in your back pocket. And what happens? They put up 45 points against the Colts, and all of a sudden Tyrone Tracy and Malik Neighbors decide to go off all of a sudden, and the Giants finally have a competent game when they're clearly the worst team in football, and they went from the 1st pick to the 4th pick. So you're basically telling me Brian Dable was like, okay, let's go in, guys, play a heck of a good game today. Well, I can't. I have no way of explaining this. So
but I'm laughing. But this way, I'm gonna tell you the good news and the bad news.
What's the good news? Please tell me the good news.
Well, the good news is it's actually going to be good news for both of us, because by what the Giants did against the Colts, basically made me win my fantasy league for work, because they made the Colts have -4 points. The guy I was playing for a championship game over the weekend. So I beat him. So I won the pool. So I won the league.
Congratulations.
So, yes. So now whoever has the top pick.
Yeah.
Who's got the top pick? Who's got it now?
Well, currently it's the New England Patriots.
Well, New England, they have Drake May.
Yeah.
So they're not going to pick a quarterback.
No, they're not.
So they're going to actually take calls and say, all right, what can I get? What can we get for the first round draft pick, first round overall pick?
See, I can't see that happening, because I think the Patriots are going to stick with the number 1 pick, and I think they're going to take Shedeur Sanders with the no, not Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter.
Okay, so that's good. So Travis Hunter is gone off the books.
Okay,
now, who's after them?
The Tennessee Titans.
Titans. That's what when the Giants need to talk to Tennessee.
See,
because Tennessee has Will Levis, and Mason Rudolph isn't the answer.
Will Levis is done. The honeymoon phase with him is done.
Yeah, so they're going to have to talk. They're going to have to talk to Tennessee.
Tennessee's going to need a quarterback. They're clearly need a quarterback.
Yeah, they got to talk to Tennessee.
So there's number 2. Number 3 is interesting. That's the Cleveland Browns.
They restructured Deshaun Watson's contract, so he is started for next year, and then they have Jameis as a backup.
Yeah, and I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson is gone.
Yeah, so now here's the thing. How many wins does Tennessee have?
3.
3? Who is Tennessee playing this week? Jacksonville?
No, they play the Colts.
The Colts? So if Tennessee and Giants both lose, Tennessee still gets a pick?
So here's how this is going to go. It's based on strength of schedule. That's how it was. The Patriots have the worst strength of schedule of the 3-win teams.
Right.
So if the Patriots decide to throw away the Bills game,
right.
If the Titans lose to the Colts, if the Browns lose to the Ravens, which I think they're going to, and if the Giants basically say, screw it, we're going to give the Eagles a game with backups, then it remains the same. It's pretty much going to depend on who wins and who loses. So right now, based on strength of schedule, it's the Patriots, the Titans, the Browns, and the Giants.
Okay.
So basically, if any combination, like if the Giants and Titans both lose and the Patriots and Browns both win, what that does is it gives the Titans the number 1 pick in the draft. And the Giants will be 2. And the Patriots will be 3. And the Browns will be 4. So it all comes down to those 4 teams. And honestly, I think all 4 teams are just going to throw their games away. Me personally.
But here's the thing. Say if you don't get Giants don't get Shedeur Sanders.
I don't want him anyway.
Go get Cam Ward.
I want him. I'll take him.
Yeah. All right. So trade up, and so say if you finish the fourth. All right.
Yeah.
Say if Tennessee picks one, you pick the other. That's all.
I agree. But like the problem is with this quarterback draft class is not great. Like compared to this past year's draft class, like the top 4 quarterbacks are Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers, and Carson Beck.
Now, I want to take Carson Beck. He should have came back. That was wrong. He's inconsistent. And same thing with Quinn Ewers. I would take Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. The best quarterback is Cam Ward.
I agree. He's a class act. He's got a good arm.
Right.
And he's consistent.
If Tennessee picks Cam Ward, I would go. Here's the thing. Because you're not going to get. I have a feeling that Sam Darnold is going back to Minnesota.
Yeah, the Vikings would be crazy if they don't bring him back.
So they're going to re-up him. They're going to say, sorry, JJ, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. We're going to give Sam a 3-year deal or maybe a 4-year extension. Sorry.
Hey, listen, he's earned it. He
did. If he's that stupid, if Minnesota's that stupid to let him walk, but after that post game that they showed with carrying him up and split.
Oh, they can't let him go. Plus, Justin
loves
him. The team loves him.
Yeah. So, Russell Wilson's signing is going to stay with Steelers. You don't want that.
Yeah.
No. So
the only way out is just taking
Sanders. You don't want Quinn Ewers or Carson.
I would actually like Quinn Ewers. I wouldn't mind him at all. I just don't want Shedeur. Anyone but Shedeur.
Like yesterday, that pick late in the game was stupid.
Yeah, bad.
He makes bad decisions. He can't run, man. He can't run. So he's only a pocket passer. So if you rush him, he can't extend the play. You know what I'm saying?
I get it, but like Quinn Ewers has a decent arm. I know Cam Ward is mobile, and I will take like I said, I'd rather Cam Ward before Quinn Ewers. That's just how I see it.
Who's the other? Is there any other quarterbacks coming out? Or those
are the leading 4. I don't know if Jackson Dart's coming out. I heard Jalen Milroe is supposed to come out, but I don't.
No, Milroe's not ready. No,
I don't want him, especially after the way he played against Michigan. No, thank you.
Jackson Dart comes out. If Jackson Dart comes out, if Dable could basically have him just relax instead of get too hyped up over bad plays.
Yeah,
he's got a good arm and he can run. Take him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I like Jackson Dart's arm. I think it's just, I think they're going to go with like the popular pick players. That's what they're going to do. But like, you want to know something? I do like the prospect. I understand the prospect of Jalen Milroe because
Right.
Brian Dable was the OC at Alabama.
Okay, yeah. He can work with him. True.
So I get that, but I don't like Milroe's game. I don't like his game. I don't.
Right.
And I think he's coming out too early. So
Right.
that's my thing with Milroe. One thing I also want to mention really quick, I want to get to the playoff seeding really quick and where it stands on both conferences before we make our picks for week 18. So currently on the AFC side, Chiefs are locked in at the 1 seed. They're going to rest their starters.
Right.
Bills are locked in at 2.
Yep.
Ravens currently hold on to the 3 seed. They could clinch the 3 seed with a win against the Browns on Saturday.
Right.
Keep in mind, that game's on Saturday.
Yes.
The Texans are locked in at 4. The Steelers and Chargers are both 10 and 6, but one of them's going to get the 5 seed, one of them's going to get the 6 seed. I guess it just depends on what happens this week. The Broncos are the 7 seed. They play the Chiefs. Miami's still alive, but Tua's hurt. The Bengals are unbelievably still hanging in there, and America wants them in the playoffs so bad.
I think it's going to be a little too late. I want them in, but I think it's going to be a little too late.
Tell that to JoJo. That's her song. But I think that so the way the Bengals can get in the playoffs is if they win against the Steelers on Saturday, the Dolphins lose to the Jets, and the Broncos lose to the Chiefs.
Now who's starting for the Jets on Sunday?
They're gonna stick with Aaron Rodgers. I
thought he was benched. I thought they were
no, they're not gonna bench. They're not gonna bench him because Aaron Rodgers said this might be my last NFL game.
Okay,
probably being over dramatic, but it's fine. And then the Dolphins can get in if they beat the Jets and the Broncos lose to the Chiefs. But now, the way I see it right now,
I'm shot. So here's the thing. Kelsey's not playing, so
Mahomes isn't playing either.
No, it's Carson Wentz. So I don't see Denver choking this one.
Yeah, I think the Broncos get that playoff spot. So I think that's the AFC side. The NFC side, this is juicy. Lions currently occupy the 1 seed. The Eagles are locked in at 2. The Rams are locked in at 3. The Falcons are somewhat still alive. They would just need to win against the Panthers and then have the Buccaneers lose to the Saints.
Nah, Bucks are beating the Saints.
Bucks are beating the Saints, so I think Tampa Bay clinches the 4 seed. The 5 seed are the Minnesota Vikings, who are 14-2. They're 14-2, and they're the 5 seed. But anyway, the Commanders are the 6 seed. The Packers are the 7 seed. Now, the way it works is the Vikings and the Lions play on Sunday Night Football this week.
Yes.
Whoever wins gets the 1 seed, and it's going to be a battle between 2 journeymen, Jared Goff versus Sam Darnold. 2 media darlings, the pride of Michigan versus the hero of Minnesota. Who would have thought? And it's funny because these are 2 of the top 3 picks in 2018.
Yep.
Goff's on his 2nd team. Sam Darnold's on his 4th.
Yep.
I just gotta say for a second, I know Jeff fans. I've been talking to a lot of Jeff fans in the area that I'm close with. They're happy for Sammy D. They're happy for him, and you know what? I don't blame him one bit because Adam Gase ruined the poor guy. Adam Gase destroyed Sam Darnold. His reputation was demolished, and people were just sleeping on him. Then he went to the Panthers, and he was a crapshoot. And then the 49ers, he didn't even see the field. Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy tears his Achilles, and all of a sudden, it's the resurrection of Sam Darnold.
Yep.
And you know what? I'm all for it. I love it. But when we get into our picks, I'm going to give you the honest truth. And then if you were to tell me how the standings are going to be, basically, if the Commanders win, they're the 6th seed. No matter what happens, they're playing the Cowboys.
Right.
The Rams are locked in where they are. The Eagles are locked in where they are. That's why they're not putting in any of their starters.
Nope.
And that's the NFC side. But I'm very looking forward to Lions and Vikings. That's going to be like a great way to end the regular season.
Yep.
But now it's time for the final week of the regular season picks based on the spread, folks. And here we go. We're going to start off with the Saturday games. We're going to start off with the Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are a 19.5-point favorite. Ravens all the way. Ming, if you want to chime in, you can chime in too. Let's include Ming. He's been kind of silent over there.
Oh, yeah. No, let's go with Baltimore for sure.
You taking the spread?
Yeah. What's the spread?
19.5 points.
Oof, that's a lot, man.
That's the biggest spread of the year, believe it or not.
It's a lot. You know what? They're mad that they moved the team. McFarland trucks.
That's right.
I'll take the spread too.
Okay, minus 19.5. Next up, America's darlings, the Cincinnati Bengals in Pittsburgh take on the Steelers. Cincy minus 1.5. Carl,
I'm going Cincinnati. They're going to win.
I'm on a Cincinnati.
I'm going Pittsburgh.
You're going Pittsburgh.
Little rivalry there.
Boo.
Listen, I'm no Steelers fan, but they've been looking pretty good.
Okay. Now we're going to go to the Sunday 1 o'clock games. We got the Giants at the Eagles. Eagles minus 3.
I think the Giants are going to do whatever they can to lose the game. I think the Eagles' backups are going to win.
I think the Eagle backups are much better than the Giant starters.
I agree. Yeah. Philly, enjoy the victory.
Yep. Next up, we got the Panthers at the Falcons. Falcons minus 8.5, but what they would need is Saints loss, Carl.
Falcons. I got Falcons win.
I'm taking Atlanta as well, but I think they toasted themselves by losing.
Yeah, they're done. They're cooked.
Yeah, they should have won that game last week. Yeah, I'll take Atlanta, though they're pissed off.
Okay. Commanders at Cowboys. Commanders minus 6.
Oh man. Crap. Man, I don't know, man. It all depends. Do they play? This is the thing. I don't think they're going to try to win. They're going to try to win, so they don't play the Eagles next week. So I would be shocked if Dallas wins, but I'm going to go with Commanders because they. You know what? No, I'm going to go. Crap. You know what? I'm going to go with Cowboys. I'm going to pick Dallas. I'm going with the Cowboys.
I'm going to go with the Commanders because of the point you said. I don't think the Eagles want to face Saquon Barkley doing a backward hurdle over one of their defenders.
Yeah, no. Fight for old DC. Commanders for sure.
Commanders. Bears, Packers. Bears haven't won any of their last 9 games. Packers minus 10.
Packers don't want to be. Packers would rather play the Rams than the Eagles. So I think the Packers are going to try to put a hurting on the Bears.
Go Pack, go Ming.
Yeah, and is that Lambeau?
It's in Lambeau Field.
Oh yeah, the Packers for sure.
It's in Lambeau Field. Texans to Titans. Titans minus 1.5. Texans are resting their starters.
Who cares?
Who cares? Who cares? That's the correct answer. But in all honesty, I'm probably taking the Texans. Why not?
Titans. I'll do Titans.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll give it to Houston.
Okay. Jaguars at Colts. Who cares? Colts minus 5.
They're saying that seeing Steichen may be in trouble. Now, if he gets fired, someone's going to hire him right away. He'll be stupid. If he gets fired, man, then I tell you, I don't know why. It's not his fault that his quarterback stinks.
Yeah.
Drafted Anthony Richardson. That's that's Irsay, the Jim Irsay's problem.
Jim Irsay, yeah.
He's a kook. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Jacksonville because Mac Jones actually been playing pretty well.
He's been doing well in relief, and also Doug Peterson's trying to do whatever he can to keep his job. Ming?
Yeah, I'll give it to Jacksonville too. They need to win. They need to put asses in seats. They need to pay Trevor Lawrence. So
yeah, they do. Bills at Patriots. Bills minus 2.5. Patriots need to lose to clinch the number 1 pick.
Tank Bowl.
Yeah. I'm going Patriots by default.
Patriots by default. Dang. I'm going with the Bills. I think Mitch Trubisky's been putting in the work since he left the Bears. I'm going with the Bills.
Mitch has got to do something to earn his paycheck. So yeah, they'll win. Yeah, they'll win. Bills.
Yeah. Saints at Buccaneers. Buccaneers minus 13.5. My God, that's big.
Baker's probably going to throw another 5-touchdown game.
I'm going with the Buccaneers. I think they clinch the division here.
Yep, Bucks for sure.
Chiefs at Broncos. Broncos minus 10 in Mile High. The Chiefs are going to rest their starters. Can Denver take advantage, Carl?
Broncos will win. I don't think it'll be closer, but I think the Broncos will win.
Okay. I'm going to take the Broncos. I don't think they cover the 10.5 points, though.
No, I don't either. Yeah, this is going to be close. I don't know. Yeah, I'll take the Broncos, but they're not covering the spread.
Okay. This is somewhat important. Chargers at Raiders. Chargers -4.5. The reason why this is somewhat important is because if Pittsburgh loses to Cincy, the Chargers can clinch the 5 spot with a win.
All right, so I think so. The Chargers want to play the Texans next week in the playoffs. That's an easier match. That's an easier game than
Yeah.
the Ravens.
I would rather, if I were Jim Harbaugh, I'd want to play the Texans rather than the Ravens.
Yeah,
big time.
Chargers.
Yeah, they got something to play for. Chargers for sure.
I'm taking the Bolts as well. This is a game that means absolutely nothing. Seahawks at Rams. Seahawks -6.5. The Rams already clinched the division. Who cares? I'm taking the Rams. Why not?
I'm gonna go with Seattle.
Yeah, let's go with Seattle as well.
Okay. Dolphins at Jets. Dolphins might not have Tua. Dolphins are favored by a point in MetLife.
I'm going with the Dolphins because they need it more. They won with Tyler Huntley last week. So
yeah,
Jets are awful. So I'm going with the Dolphins.
I'm taking the Jets because Devon Achane screwed me in fantasy, and that's a shot at you, Mike McDaniel, for not knowing what you're doing with your star player.
It's the Jets. Miami for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Niners at Cardinals. Another meaningless game. Cardinals -4.
I'm going to go with Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Yeah, Cards as well.
All right. Now for the game of the week, undisputed. The Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. Both teams are 14-2. It's in Motown. Winner gets the 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. The other will get the 5 seed and play Tampa Bay. And the spread is Detroit -3. Carl.
Detroit getting packed. Detroit getting bags packed, and you're going to Tampa Bay next week.
Damn. Ming, Detroit or Minnesota?
It's gonna be a good game.
It's gonna be a really good one.
It'll be a good game. I think Goff is better than Darnold though. Although Sam's been playing great. No slight to him.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to Detroit. It's gonna be a good game though. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be close.
Okay, so I'm the tiebreaker here. All right, here's what
I know Detroit's banged up too, but
that's the thing. Detroit's banged up, and Sam Darnold's playing well, but it's in Detroit, and Dan Campbell's better than Kevin O'Connell, but Sam Darnold's the media darling. Oh my god, my friend Jake's gonna hate me for this. I'm going with the Vikings.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I can't. I can't go against. Sam Darnold's been playing so well. I can't go against that. I can't. And like you said, Detroit is banged up and injured. I can't go against it. I can't.
This is where Goff go, man.
Whoever wins, now here's the thing. Whoever wins against Tampa, if there's no other upsets, they're playing in the divisional round.
Yeah, I think, believe it or not, I have a hot take right here. I think all the wild cards are going to win in the wild card round in the NFC side. I think Minnesota or Detroit can beat Tampa Bay. I think Commanders or Packers can beat the Rams, but mainly the Commanders. And I think the Packers can beat the Eagles. That's what I think. That's how I see it. And then on the AFC side, if you want my early prediction, like I think the Broncos are in. I think the Bills mollywop them. I think the Ravens, I think we get Ravens and Steelers, and I think the Steelers come out. And I think for Texans and Chargers, I think the Bolts win. Those are my early playoff predictions. But anyway, that is 1 hour gone. 1 hour come and gone. That's actually been a really quick hour than I thought it would be. First off, I want to thank Ming Chen for pushing the buttons for us.
Always.
And I also got to thank Carl Maglowski, my good man, for coming remotely. Our next show is going to be on January 16th. Now, before we go, I also have that one message I got to say. If you know or see somebody who is over the age of 60, please treat your elders with respect. As SpongeBob SquarePants once said, old people are the greatest. They are full of wisdom and experience. So they're the light for the future. Please treat them with respect. From Matt Siriani, Carl Maglowski, and Ming Chen, this has been the Equinox. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year. See you next time.